Oh, how's it going, y'all? Hope you have had a good week so far. And that you had a great long weekend. It's been a crazy weekend over here, and not a long one here in Canada. Ours was last weekend. Hey, Allison. Good to see ya. Man, so welcome to the General Hospital Reactions live stream. We're not watching classic videos. We are just hanging out and talking about Tuesday and Wednesday's episodes. Because, damn, there was a lot of drama. I want to know your thoughts. I want to share mine. There's lots to discuss, I feel, and it's only been 2 days. Although, you know, we're not recapping. We're just giving our thoughts, man. Angel, you said child. Mm-hmm. Man. Hey, Sandy. Happy birthday, Angel. Hope you had a good birthday. Oh, man. Love the Michael stuff. Oh yeah, let's talk about Michael. Like, first of all, I know it's only been 2 episodes, technically 3, but how do we feel about is it Rory Gibson? How do we feel about the new actor that's playing him so far? I know we don't have a whole lot to go on, and even for me, like, I don't really have enough to form an opinion. He hasn't had to do a whole lot except just like be grateful he's home. But it's been fun to watch, regardless. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, with the Michael stuff, the one thing that took me for a surprise, Angel, you said Rory's growing on you. That's good to hear. The one thing that took me by surprise is Nina finding out, or putting it together, that Michael and Sasha slept together and that's probably his baby. But man, like, is she really prepared to throw Sasha under the bus like that? Glad to hear, Angel. But yeah, I did not expect Nina to figure it out. That was a surprise for me. I love Willow and Drew panicking. I've loved that part so far. Willow and Drew just being caught off guard. But yeah, it's Allison, you said I like him, but I'm glad the character is there and glad he's screwing over Willow. Angel says Sasha can throw Nina under the bus. Oh, that's true. That is true. Damn. She could. Sasha can clap back. Damn, and the trial's coming up, right? It's like the first week of June, right? First or second. Sandy says Nina will do anything for Willow. Allison, you said that sucks about Sasha, but the truth needs to come back. Yeah, I mean, the truth was going to come out anyway. I'm just surprised it's coming out before the baby was born. Like, I honestly thought that this was going to go for a little while. Maybe because we thought, like, Michael wasn't coming back soon. But we got a new one. He can continue the story. Things can come out. It's all happening really fast. Come on, says my thing about my new name for Sasha. Ever she's gonna kidnap her best friend's kid? Huh? She knew about the fact that her best friend was kissing another man. Isn't the baby due in June? I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, so the baby was conceived in October. So November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Oh, June, July. July. But, you know, it's a soap, so the baby could come early. But yeah, it was the day before Halloween, so really it was like November. So really, the baby could be due in August. And I think Nina, or not Nina, I think Sasha actually said that. Brian, you said Nina finding out changes nothing. Jason will have Spinelli do his deal and leave Nina with another egg on her face. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm surprised that, like, I thought like Jocelyn maybe called Michael originally, and that's why he came home so fast. But he's just healed, apparently. Just really, really speedy recovery. So that part was a bit, you know, cringe. But hey, it is what it is. What was I gonna say? They didn't kidnap the children. Michael had an emergency court order. That is true. Yeah, Michael had a court order. Whether or not Jason showed the babysitter that, I'm not sure, but I love that they got emergency custody. I hate that they didn't answer, like, on what grounds. Like, what was needed for emergency custody? Maybe he used the things that's been going on with Drew. Drew being, like, you know, a congressman who's, you know, questionable antics. Because even though Tracy was arrested for drugging him, doesn't necessarily mean she did it. And we know that she didn't. We know that it was Portia. Drew knows that it was Portia. So, who knows? Brian, you said Diana is a boss for getting Michael emergency custody. Yeah, I mean, hell yeah, she is. She's it's what she does best. Michael the baby stealer. I mean, is he a baby stealer though? I mean, that baby was living in his house. So, originally, and Willow just decided to move out while he was recovering in a burn unit. So I wouldn't call him a baby stealer. It's his kid. Hell, Wiley is literally his biological kid and not even Willow's. So, is it stealing? You just took him out of a dangerous situation. Yeah, you can't steal your own kids. Yeah, exactly. Like, first of all, like, Wiley was technically living with Michael. He was only with Willow because he was in the burn unit. Even though Jason can enforce a court order easily. True. Exactly. There you go. He took his kid home. I mean, really, first of all, he took, you know, Wiley out of the nurse's ball, which isn't stealing. I don't. What you're saying doesn't make any sense, Kaiwan. I'm sorry. Sandy, you said Michael's been gone for months. It's his right. He wants to be with his children with no intrusions. Yeah, like, he's been recovering in a burn unit. Even if, like, he didn't have a court order, I think, like, even Mac was like, dude, like, this isn't really kidnapping. Oh, man. And I mean, and let's be real. If we're gonna call what Michael did kidnapping, then shouldn't Michael have gotten Willow arrested for kidnapping Wiley and taking him out of the state? All he did was take him back to his grandmother or his mom's house with him. Like, Willow literally whisked Wiley and Amelia off to DC so she could stand by that guy. That's what kidnapping is, without Michael's knowledge. That's kidnapping. So then you're going to call Willow a kidnapper too, right? Since she did the same thing a few months ago? Or is there different rules for Willow? Brian says Michael gave Willow the sunny death stare at the door today. Because Willow literally stole Michael's kids and took them out of the country. So, all Michael did was take him down the road. and Amelia down the road. And didn't even hide where he was going. That's not kidnapping. They knew where he was. I mean, you can say the same thing, but he literally said out loud in front of Willow and Drew that he's taking, you know, Wiley to his grandmother's house. And they had a court order. So it's not kidnapping. I'm pretty sure the court order likely came first. All right. But yeah, I guess I don't really have much more thoughts on the Willow and Drew thing, other than I love seeing them look like idiots. But yeah. Geo stuff. Geo stuff has been fantastic. I think all the actors are doing an incredible job, and I think, I don't know. I think it's going to be a messy road for all of those characters. I love that we got to see sort of everyone go for Lois, from Brooklyn and Dante. You had Ned in there. Ned was who I was really looking forward to, because that's such a slap in the face for him. You know, that's his daughter. And he felt so bad for not being able to be there for her because Lois kind of took that agency away from him. So I loved him being so upset. Olivia, reacted in the way that she should have. You know, like, they're best friends. They grew up together. That's her grandson that she's talking about. And I know Lois tried to bring up the Sonny thing, but, like, I kind of agree with Olivia. Like, there was, like, other circumstances to consider. You know, Sonny being his father leads them to danger. And yeah, unfortunately for Olivia, Sonny shot Dante. Really, realistically, Olivia should have said something the second that Dante was investigating Sonny. So that part's on her. But I can't really blame her for not wanting to, you know, not wanting to reveal Dante's father to him for the first, you know, couple of decades of his life. Yeah, I feel bad for Ned. He was a good dad and would have supported her too. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I guess Lois feared that the Quartermaines would just take a hold of him. So I don't know. Like, I don't think that there's no excuse for what she did. I think that she had her reasons, and given the Quartermaines' history, it's valid. But I feel like if she had told Ned to keep the baby's identity a secret from his family, that he would have. I honestly think he would have. I don't think he would have confided in Tracy. Allison, you said Jane is a great actress. I agree. Oh my god, you guys, when she was like, when she found out the truth about Geo, and she just sort of like said, don't go anywhere, and she just started saying, you know, I have 2 sons, and I have a grandson and a granddaughter, and now I have a great grandson, and then showing the brooch that she was wearing and that it belonged to Lila, and then showing him a picture of Lila and Edward, and my heart was just breaking, because she's so happy about it, and he's just like broken, and she's just like, I'm just happy you're here. You're my family now. You have a family. Yeah, Tracy's been my favorite part of this story so far, and that's, you know, I'm crediting Jane for that, because Jane, like, it's just so interesting, like, just having watched Tracy for, you know, myself for like 2 decades, the growth of the character and how she's become such a soft, loving person who still has her spunk and her eccentric and like, you know, her quirks, we'll call them. She still can be the Tracy that we've known her to be for, you know, 40 years. But at the same time, you know, just the growth and the softness and how she genuinely cares about family, and it's more than like, you know, an ELQ thing. It's less about that, and it's more about just like your family. We need to be there for each other. You have all these people here for you. Ned has balls. He could have stopped his family. Sandy says, loving Tracy. Brian, you said Lulu's going to catch all kinds of hell. Yeah, you know, the fallout for Lulu has not even began yet. It's not even begun, y'all. Like Dante's going to be pissed. And I mean, when Brooklyn finds out that Lulu's the reason that Gio found out, there's going to be hell to pay. You know, in the way that he did. Like, realistically, I think Lulu probably would have been smarter to just confront Brooklyn instead of Lois. Like, and then left Brooklyn to, you know, and then she could have heard, like, if Brooklyn knew or not. And I think Lulu would have realized it when she was talking to her. But yeah, then Brooklyn could have just confronted Lois on her own. And it wouldn't have blown up on stage. You know, if Lulu just went to her in private, not at the nurse's ball. Brian, you said she's truly taken over as the matriarch of the family. Yeah, and I love that. I sincerely love it. I love that Tracy's really the helm of the Quartermains now. Kaiwan, you said, you know, it'll be great if Lois connects what Willow's going through to what she had to do to lie about Brooklyn's baby. To be honest, Kaiwan, I don't think we're going to see Lois for much longer. They're not going to let her back in that house. Or maybe they're like, listen, if Tracy has learned anything in that house, it's how there are family members that are willing to just throw their suitcases out the door and say goodbye and not even give like a, you know, a second thought. Because Lord knows that's happened to Tracy a million times. Everyone packing her bags and throwing her out. And I think that Tracy, no doubt, will do the same for Lois. And say, get out, you have no defense. And I think Lois, being who she is not going to fight that. Lois knows she messed up. Lois knows that if there is a bridge for forgiveness for her from Brooklyn, from Gio, from Ned, from Olivia, that it's going to take years. It's going to take years to get there. She ain't staying in that house no more. And I'm not surprised because I think Rena Sofer talked about semi-retiring, so I think this is the end of her arc. I don't think we're going to see her much more. Angel, you said, I cracked up laughing when they compared Mufasa telling Simba about everything the light touches in our kingdom to Tracy telling Gio about his relatives. Wait, who's they? When did this happen? Did I miss something? Allison, you think Lois will leave town? Yeah, I think she will. I think she will too. But yeah, and Gio, I just feel so bad for the kid. Like, this dude, what a blow, man. You know, I feel like it probably would have been easier for Lois to tell him the truth when he was a kid, when his adopted mother passed away. But the people of GH Twitter and Instagram, oh man. Yeah, Tracy, Tracy is the queen of that mansion. I mean, Monica technically is. We just never see her. May she rest in peace. What if this is the thing that kills Monica? What if, you know what? Damn. But one thing I will say about GH currently is that the Quartermains are driving so much story on the show. It's, you know, it's like both the Michael thing and the Gio thing are both Quartermain stories, and they are front and center. and probably will be for quite some time. And I love that for the Quartermaines because, there was years where they were nothing but, fluff for 3 minutes of an episode and nothing more. And no story, just there to banter and argue, and that was it. And now they're sort of leading the pack, and we've lost essentially all the OG Quartermaines except for Tracy. But they've done a great job at rebuilding the family and making them a prominent feature of the show, and I'm grateful for that. The stories aren't always great, obviously, but like, I don't know. I'm glad that they kind of seen the error of sort of backburning the Quartermaines when they were one of the most beloved features on the show for decades. So yeah, kudos. I don't always praise the writers for good reason, but I gotta give props to where it is. I love the Q's being front and center again, and driving story and driving drama. It's not just like light fluff. It's drama, y'all. They're bringing all of it. Monica found out about this. She died of a heart attack. Yeah, that'd be so crazy. That would just... Lois... Man. Sandy says, what is Michael going to say when he finds out Tracy is working with Drew to bring Sonny down? To be honest, I think that Tracy is going to back off of joining him. Probably for the sake of a bit of peace in the house when there's so much chaos. Because, whether she likes it or not, Sonny is Gio's grandfather and he gets a say in that family. What's the ABC's first rich mega family soap? Is it GH? I don't know. Laura, hey Laura. We've just been sharing our thoughts on the drama. We talked about Michael first. We're talking about the Gio stuff now. But what are your thoughts? Like, you can chime in on both situations. It's more of a chill hangout stream, but we're talking about the drama so far. So yeah. Well, just let me know what your thoughts are. My thoughts are, I'm loving the drama. The performances, particularly in the Gio storyline, have all been fantastic, phenomenal performances. My favorite's been Jane Elliott, Tracy, but they're all bringing their A games to this, and thank God, because the story to begin with was not one that I think any of us wanted. Certainly not a rewrite that I liked, nor bought, and they're selling it good, and that's a credit to not the writers, that's the actors making it believable. Laura, you said, I like this new Michael. He felt like Michael. It was awesome, and the Gio thing was great. The only thing I would have changed is Tracy should have put the kid up at the MetroCorp for a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, the kid ran out like pretty fast, and I don't think necessarily that Gio would have. I don't think that Gio would have taken that offer. I think what will likely happen is he's going to crash at Emma's with Anna, and I think that Emma's likely going to text Tracy because she loves the Quartermaine family. Edward saved her life. It was basically thanks to Tracy. That she was able to give it to Patrick back in those days. The antidote, I mean. But yeah, I can see that Emma feels for Tracy and that she loves that he's family and that her heart is breaking for him. Laurie said Tracy looked great, by the way, and I loved the way that they filmed the Trina scene. Oh, Trina and Kai making love. It was like pretty tastefully done. Like it wasn't too like bed focused. They focused on like the tenderness of it first, and yeah, like eventually they did strip down, but it was very nice. And I liked the song too, and I tried to like ask Siri what it was, but it didn't happen. Laurie said Tracy looked great, by the way, and I loved that Oh yeah. Sorry for the repeatedness. The phone's being weird. Oh, it's okay. If anything knows about glitches on streams, it's me. Loving the Emma Geo vibe. Yeah, I can't believe I like them as a couple. Like, I know they're not really a couple yet, but I'm loving their friendship. I'm loving that they're so, like, there for each other. I really, I never thought that I would be happy for a recast of Emma, mainly because, I was hoping that we'd keep the tradition of, like, watching the Scorpios really grow up on screen. Robin, we seen as a little girl, all the way until, adulthood. And I was hoping the same for Emma, but this actress that plays Emma is doing a fantastic job and showing the different sides of her. I like her. I do like her. Trina can be with a real man, not a wimp like Spencer. No, Spencer's not the worst character in history. That's Drew. That's definitely Drew. And if he was a bad character, he wouldn't have been so successful that fans are putting him on billboards in New York. So let's not rewrite history there. They were like the most popular couple on GH for good reason. Doesn't make Spencer like, golden boy or anything, but like, he definitely had a lot of flaws. But worst character in history is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever heard you say. Angel, you said Trina and Kai are boring. I skipped through them. I'm not interested. I'm more interested in Emma and Gio. That's valid. Yeah, like, I will say that Trina and Kai aren't super interesting. But I do think that Kai in many ways is a better man than Spencer. I mean, Spencer had a lot of drama with him. Yeah, but worst character in the history of GH. Have you watched GH? That was like the most dramatic extra thing. Allison, you said new Lorenzo Alcazar and OG Franco were the worst. Oh, nah, Lorenzo. Oh, you said nah, sorry. Lorenzo Alcazar and OG Franco were the worst. There's worse characters than them too, to be fair. Like, there's been worse. I mean, like, well, first of all, Lorenzo's a villain. So, like, I don't know. That's a harder thing to sort of call out. Franco was a villain too. Can't be hitting on Franco. He made things interesting. I like the original trilogy of Franco, but I'm bitter towards it because it ushered out the Valentine Castellani's original story that we were supposed to get. So I've got some feelings there on that. And to me, at the time, like, Franco was just like Robert Guza's weird hard-on for Jason personified into a character. Like, the obsession that man had with Jason Morgan was crazy. And then we had to watch it happen in real time with a character that was obsessed with him as much as the writer was. But even then, I wouldn't say Franco's the worst character. There were villains back in the day that were far worse characters. And just, like, terrible people. Allison, you said, I know, I just hated them so much they made me quit the show for, like, a year. Really? I mean, for me, like, Franco pissed me off more when Roger Howarth was playing him. Because all the rewrites that we had to sit through and all the, like, plot holes that they had to sort of dust under the carpet and, like, not even acknowledge certain things just to make it work just so that Roger Howarth could have a job. Hated that. He was not worth keeping around for that. And then, when they tried to give him another new character, it really, it just proved that he was kind of like only really sort of one-note character. one note sort of actor. Kind of played the characters the same ways. They really just took like the personality out of, Austin and made him boring. No, it was only good if you were a Jason Morgan fan. I feel like the original trilogy, like, it had its place, but it was truly ridiculous in the sense that, like, this guy was just really obsessed with Jason because he killed so many people. Like, what? There was worse killers than Jason out there. Sandy said Roger kept coming back over and over. Same with Michael Easton, It just felt like blatant favoritism. Like, they could be writing new characters with, like, firm sort of like a firm game plan for them. You know what I'm saying? And instead, it was kind of like, oh, we need to give Roger Howarth another character so that he can keep up his contract and still have a job, because, like, no one else is gonna hire him, and no one else has, have they? Like, hate to say it, I know people praise Roger Howarth, but I've never seen the fascination with him. Brian said Lisa Niles was a Looney Tune. Yeah, but Brianna Brown played her so well. Like, yeah, I hated what Lisa did to Robin and Patrick, but she was like an entertaining villain. And I wouldn't even say she's the worst character. She was just, like, batshit crazy and didn't want to, like, heal herself from that. She was a lost cause, but mentally ill. Mentally ill. Yeah, GH felt like they needed to keep the One Life actors. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, like, the first time round, like, GH or Ron Carlivati and Frank pulled a stupid move. They utilized One Life to Live characters when in far more ways than they should have, and got sued for it, and they had no choice but to usher them off and still somehow like, meet their contract obligations. So in that sense, it was like, yeah, it sucked, but like, for them it sucked, and they had to just sort of bring on these characters and like, give them someone to play. I liked Roger as Todd Manning. Yeah, like, he was good as Todd Manning. I liked him as Todd Manning too. But Franco, they didn't even tell him to be like Franco. They told him to be like Todd, but you're just Franco now. Like, Roger Howarth admitted that in an interview, and that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And it didn't work. It backfired in major ways. And then they had to, start from scratch every few months just to try to give him a new thing. They tried to make him a Quartermain. They tried to undo all the bad things he did with, like, the most banana-esque rewrites. And then, every time they tried to, like, I think the most ridiculous thing was the tumor thing. Like, the tumor made him do it, and then, like, and yet, after the tumor was removed, he still locked people in a freezer. He still strapped a dog collar onto a man and put him in a cage to shock him. He still buried his mom alive. Like, and yeah, they these aren't, like, Heather and, the man that raped Elizabeth, not good people, but, like, no sane person that was, is going to strap a dog collar on a man and throw him in a dog cage and shock him to death. Like, this is not, like, so it wasn't even believable. Like, it was insane. It was insane. Brian said they should have kept Roger as Tom Manning. They didn't have a choice. They had to get rid of Todd Manning. They did not have the rights to have that character on there in the first place, and that's why they had to usher them off. So that's the writer's fault. GH did not have the right to give Todd Manning storylines. When One Life to Live was on that streaming network, whatever it was called, they gave permission to have the characters on there, but not in major ways, not to affect their stories that would eventually come on One Life to Live. And it did. They killed off like Star's entire family like on GH and made them front and center on the show. Her, Todd, and John McBain. The only character that really kind of worked for me was John McBain out of those three. Because like they gave him history with Anna. They gave him like sort of, you know, ties to Port Charles that weren't so Prospect Park. Thank you, Sandy. They gave him ties, and it made sense. So it was a bit more tolerable, and I think it also helped that Kelly Monaco and Michael Easton, you know, were a pretty popular sort of staple of the spin-off for GH, Port Charles. And they had their fun with that too. And in cringy ways, yes, but like, you know, fans wanted to see Kelly and Michael act against each other, so it worked. Laura says, did Star suck wherever she came from, or did they just make her suck on GH? I don't know. See, like I said, I never really watched the other ABC soaps, so I had no ties to the character, and it just like it felt like it was just getting worse and worse with Ron Carlivati, and you know, I'm glad it bit him in the ass, and Frank. Like, this was supposed to be like GH's 50th year leading up to this, right? When they were bringing these characters on, and they were putting them at front and center and talking about the histories of these characters from their show that a lot of GH viewers probably never even knew about or cared about. Like, and then they were bringing the other characters from One Life to Live on the show, and it was just like, it was nuts to me. And so like, my reaction when they had to push them out the door just in time for the anniversary of the show was, thank God, now we can actually just focus on the 50th year and the storylines that can come from that, and not even have to give the One Life characters a second thought. When I was watching Star, was like James' age. Oh, damn. Cute kid. Couldn't believe that they killed Star's baby. I feel like, you know what I think it is? To me, Ron Carlivati kind of had the vibe that he was kind of a bitter Betty. You know, like, just, and I'm basing this off of like how he'd react when fans would call him out for getting history wrong for GH, and he'd come up with an excuse or this and that, and I don't know, he just always had an excuse for it, and it was like, no, like, you blatantly got that wrong. Like, the one that stands out to me the most was when Holly had said that, or no, Laura questioned like why she would cheat with Luke knowing that he was with her and having a baby, and she said, I had no idea you were pregnant. And I'm like, Holly was there when Luke and Laura announced it. What are you even talking about? Like come on. Like so many of these scenes were on YouTube. And even like things like Maxie being mad at Dylan for missing Georgie's funeral. I'm like, he was there. He was a major part of the funeral. Like, what? Just so many bad things. Like, made me so mad. All right, but I guess we got a little bit off topic. I mean, I don't have much more to say on current GH because, you know, it's only been 2 episodes. But keep it up, GH. Like, they're doing a great job with the drama that's currently going on. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say too much because we're obviously going to recap everything on Sunday. Laura says you can chalk it up to the General Hospital Mandela effect, you know, or bad writing. It was bad writing, plain and simple. And Ron Carlivati would get called out on it on social media, and then he'd fight with the fans over it. And it's like, no, dude, like, they're showing you the clips. Tristan Rogers officially retired last year. Well, yeah, like, the dude was getting on in age. Like, plain and simple. I think it was a bit ridiculous to make Sasha Holly and Robert's kid, but here we are. Just, I guess, leaving some kind of legacy. Mandela effect and fight with the fans. Lord. I was so glad when he was fired. Like, I was so glad because, like, the writing got so bad under him that it was like watching some cockamamie fan fiction of GH that somehow got on the air. Like, nothing made sense anymore. The characters that were nice were turning evil. The evil characters were turning nice. Everything was backwards. Nothing made sense. Rick says, been trying to get others to get Frank Valentini replaced. I mean, it's valid. Like, he's certainly not the worst executive producer that they've had. You know, to his credit, he really saved GH on the 50th anniversary. But, you know, and I feel like he got the cast to care about the show. Because it felt like for a long time they were phoning it in. But yeah. And in those ways, I think that he is a decent executive producer. But Fresh Blood, ain't nothing wrong with it. How do I word this? In a perfect world, I would love fresh eyes because we just kind of keep shuffling the same people to the other soaps. Whether it's the actors, the writers, the producers, they're all just bouncing into each other. I don't want to get to a point where we're bouncing back to Jill Phelps, all right? Like, they share each other, and it's like there are younger people that could probably make the show far more interesting because they know what, you know, would pull the younger viewers in, and they're probably savvy enough to do their research on the show and make sure that they're catering to as many fans as they possibly can, both old and new. So, I don't know. Brooklyn, you said, so looking forward to Sasha's storyline with Michael. Rick said, nothing makes sense on the show for years now beyond the gates with John Lindstrom and his ex-wife or so-so. I just couldn't get into Beyond the Gates that much, Rick. Some of the actors on there are just awful, and it just took me out of the entire thing, which sucks because I felt the storylines on there are decent, but it just, I could not stomach. Especially, is their character's name Allison? The main girl that's crazy and is obsessed with her ex and all that ridiculousness. I can't take her seriously, so I tried to watch for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I had to let go of it. I was like, I can't. It's too much. But I hear like John's playing a good villain on there, so you know, more power to him. Kevin's just, you know, in the upper level of Laura's house, I guess. Oh Lord. But yeah, I don't have much more to say on this week's episodes other than I'm enjoying it, and I'm thankful that we have such incredible actors on the show. I think again, all the actors that play Tracy and Dante and Brooklyn and Olivia and Ned and Gio and Emma and Tracy, they're doing a fantabulous job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the fallout tomorrow and the next day. But yeah, on that note, I think I'll just end the live stream here, y'all. It's been fun. I will see you guys this Sunday. I'm gonna recap the hell out of this week and share even more of my thoughts and kind of break things down in a less chill way. Just because this is more of like a hangout that we're just processing what we're seeing this week so far. And you know, we'll talk about where things are gonna go from here, because you know, we don't have too much left of either of these stories, realistically. You know, beyond like the next step. Healing, hopefully, for Gio and Brooklyn and Dante and everyone involved, and someone to, I don't know, how do you end the Michael and Willow shit? Who knows? Oh well. But yeah, I will catch you guys on Sunday. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Mwah!